map and interpret an area and try to find out how we'll do it for a lifetime if we can.
Okay.
And right now I'm trying to find out what's wrong with my depth sounder.
Now, what kind of a depth sounder do you like to use, Jack?
Oh, I think that overall the liquid crystal is a better unit to use.
Why is that?
The videos, if they get in the sun, are much of a glare. They just fade out and you can't see them.
Mm-hmm.
And you put them back in a big tunnel and you still got to fiddle around to get to them to see them.
Yeah.
This is actually sun enhanced.
Oh.
And you see it right in the bright sun at all times, unless the sun is actually reflecting off of the clear glass there, and it can blind you in. It's like a mirror. But the display on the screen does not fade out.
Doesn't fade out.
As soon as you just turn where the angle of the reflection is not in your eye, and you can see it real good.
Okay.
In fact, it's sun enhanced.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go, Chase, for now, and just go with that, because that's in my opinion, that's the best thing you can put on the water. I understand the bottom line gray lines. I don't really know, but you've got to have something that gray lines.
I got the Lowrance one. It's a little bigger, and for seeing the bottom, I agree. But when I'm trying to troll a brake line, I go back to the flasher. The reason I do is because the flasher's got a very sharp transducer. When you're over a brake line, you see it right now. When you get off of it, you really see it. But with the graph, it's kind of.
But you're mapping and interpretation.
Right.
If you look away from a flasher, and I've used them, and I've even found the muck lines in Florida with a flasher, but you look away a minute and you can miss a creek.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I use them both. For just what you said, when I go out, I mean, like when I'm trying to figure the brake lines out here, I run back perpendicular with the graph, and I know what I'm looking for. Then I come back with the flasher and try to hit that brake line. Yeah, I think they're pretty good. Although I don't know, I've seen you guys use these. The video.
Yeah, I like them. They got more detail, more sharper display and everything. But you just can't. I don't like for my fish to look like a bunch of square knots, square dots, but you get the same information on that. And bottom reading is black. If it goes into rocks, it'll gray line right up into the rocks.
I can even see that sometimes when I'm on, like on a delta, and you want to see when it starts coming off, you start to see the gray line will start separating like that, and you go, I know she's getting ready to drop off. Long before the top's dropped off, you can see the hard rock is dropped off. So yeah, they're definitely useful. Trouble usually finding any of the brake lines. I'll even find on a brake line what I think may be a contact point. What I can't do though is know when I'm supposed to go to the deeper brake line, and do I park there for 2 or 3 hours, just keep trolling it back and forth? When do I go to the next brake line deeper? Is it do you only go to a 30? Let's say here we got 3 or 4 brake lines out here. Do you go to the 25-foot brake line after you caught fish at the 10, or would you go right to the 25? And when would you go to a 40-foot brake line? Some people even saying I'm fishing way too deep. I mean, I'll fish back in Indiana. There's a break there 52 feet. I'll run a 52-foot. It's not very easy, but it's like that's what I kind of have to know is how do I interpret when I should be going deeper and when I shouldn't.
Okay, let me start out then. Let me start out with the basics, and I'll get down.
Okay.
And we'll start from there to answer your question. You always, to find a structural situation, okay, you start from the deepest water in the area, and I tell people, anytime you go to fish an area, that is your lake within a lake. You don't worry about up here, down there, over there. If you do, you lose concentration for here. So I tell them, no matter why you have selected an area to check, that's your lake within a lake. Now, you go to the deepest water in that area. It might just be 25 feet. It might be 200 feet. But you're after the deepest water in that area. And I tell them to start out just from the shore. We just go right in here and start out, and it can be done now as fast as you can do it. And then I look for the cut through. first I gotta see what's out there. If I've got a break line, it doesn't take long. You start finding the break lines. But I will leave the shore. Look at that osprey, that fish.
Yeah.
Carrying it like a bomb. Now, can you see that?
Oh, go ahead. No, we're not in the
reading it, or where are we at?
We got nothing. We got no reading yet. What?
I just from the area that I'm going to fish that day, whether it's a day, a few hours, a few days, or whatever. I'll start from the area I'm going to fish, and I head in a straight line, and I'm looking for the deepest water in the area. Now, if the deepest water is 30 to 35 feet, as soon as I start seeing 30 feet, I turn around and come back. It can go on 100 feet, a 200, or 150, or whatever. I know that normally my sanctuary is 30 to 35 feet deep. And I would most of the time rather be fishing water that depth, because I don't have to worry about them running away on down there and leaving.
We'll take like this situation here, as we get a little further out here. I know this, unfortunately, right here there's a double channel, but assuming that there was not a channel here and another one further out, they'll drop off into 60 feet. Would you just come along until it came, say, continued on to 35 and say, we got enough water and not worry that the channel is there?
That is correct.
Okay, well, see, that's where I'm making a mistake.
I know there's a hump right out there, and you'll see why in a few minutes. And I'm going to treat you just like a total novice.
Well, that's okay. My questions may be different.
Right, and my answers are based on sending the novices back home, and they're able to fish any body of water that they ever run across.
Okay.
And it's the same with you and I and all of us. And you've already said, well, that's where I'm making my mistake, or where I need to turn.
Well, I seem to hit the structure situations. In other words, I won't be talking about these break lines unless they're on a bar. But it's like I don't know when to quit going deeper.
Right. Well.
Okay, now we're kind of coming up. Yeah, you were at about 18, I think, back there. So we've either got a real big flat, or we're coming up on a delta.
You can do this so fast if you're by yourself. Right. I mean, you know, and when you're talking and everything, in fact, I don't talk and do anything well. And
yeah, we're coming up shallower at 712 now.
See, I'm looking. I know nothing about this thing, and I'm looking for the deepest water in the area. If I don't find it, now see, I'm breaking down.
Right. Now she's going down.
Okay. Now. I'm looking for the deepest water in the area, or 30 feet.
You're at 30. Now you're at 30 right now, and there she goes. Now she's taking off 30, 40.
Yeah. Now I want to get on my range. I want to come up to what am I?
You're on 40 scale.
Okay. So
you're never going to fish that break line that you just hit there at the 42 footer. You're not going to fish that one.
No,
I mean not today, but I mean in general.
You can. You can fish it, but right now we're mapping and interpreting and seeing. We're looking for a structural situation. I came way out into the lake,
43 feet.
I'm not. And I found sanctuary depth 30 feet plus. So I'm not interested in how much more deeper.
Okay, now you got the 29. You're right on.
I head straight back to the bank.
Okay.
Now I'm looking for the shallowest break. Now this is for mapping and interpretation. Look how far I am away from the bank. Yeah. Okay, tell me when that breaks.
She's leveling off.
Yeah, this seems
looks like you're getting real close.
Broke right then, didn't it?
Yeah, about
it doesn't have to be that close, but as soon as I drop on that, now there might be a break up here 6 feet or 8 feet, but when I get in a fishable break line, then I start marking it. And I don't care about secondary breaks. I don't care about anything else, because I know from the distance from here to there, I know that's flat, because I just came across it.
Right.
Now, I know that if I can't go down through here and find something that cuts through and goes all the way to them shallows, I've got nothing but trolling water. Okay. Maybe it's productive trolling water, maybe it isn't. But if I go so far down there and I don't find any cuts or anything, then more than likely this is dead. If I go down there and find something cutting all the way through and I don't find breaks of some kind here, then it's still dead.
Okay.
But if we find a cut through, a migration route all the way to the shallows, and we start coming back up here, that can be productive, and we try to find the breaks and stuff on it, because they'll use it.
Okay. Okay.
A barge, like barges, gouge out places all the time.
I'll help you out. What are you looking for now?
I'm just looking to like go off that. I can't read 30. As soon as I see 30, I start turning around.
Okay. All right.
So as soon as I see it kind of
All
go
right,
off,
I'll let
I'm
you know
on
next time
40. But
I'll call
now,
it.
after I come back out to my 30, to my sanctuary depth or the deepest water in the area, I turn and I stay out in the deep water, and I go down as far as what's, or up, whichever direction you're going to fish. And I go as far as what's comfortable to me. Boat traffic, wind, the size of your markers, you just go what you can use. So
Still 40.
you don't want to go so far that you can't stay in a straight line when after you get all your markers out, and you really need to throw out at least 4 markers. I can only throw out 3 because I got to save one. I only got 4, and I've had bypasses. I've got other markers at home, everything.
Okay, she's coming up here, 28, 27.
Yeah, great.
You want to look for when she levels off.
I'm looking for my shallowest break.
Shallowest break. 17, still going. 15. She started to level. Yeah, she leveled off.
Now I just get out because I just discipline myself. I don't want to start looking around back here because I'm not set up yet to do what is my final outcome, what is the final result I'm looking for. So I discipline myself to get in and out and get right on back out here, and again, it can be done just as fast as you can do it.
That's a little interesting. She even come up to 11 here, so there's and now 12.
Structure situation. Just get ready. Now I go immediately, and I get just as close on the inside of that marker as I can get. And I go as straight to that other marker as I can possibly go. Now I'm really paying attention now to what I'm seeing on that depth sounder.
What are you going to look for? Any cuts or
anything that excites me? Now, I'm looking for cuts because this is a flat, and I've got to have something that cuts that flat, cuts this break line, and goes to the deep. Now, after I find that something, then I've got to start analyzing. It can go part of the way and be a hot spot at all times except spawn. If it is a structural situation, a migration route for spawning and so forth, it does go all the way. So I'm looking for something that I can start analyzing now. Something that, that wakes you. You say, look at there it is.
Right.
And I take people that's never, the boy I got back with us, he hadn't even read the whole green book yet. It's his first day, he hadn't even fished yet. Well, I think Don Rucker had him out, but he was getting excited. If we crossed something, he saw it. And I say, if it excites you, then the fish should see it. And I guess I would say it has to excite you before the fish, if you get a measure. But anytime you see the cut, you analyze where it goes.
We haven't picked up anything here yet.
This levels the tabletop, isn't it?
Yeah, back
now I can switch back and forth to see if it's a delta, but you've got a break line. It doesn't have to be a delta. All break lines aren't deltas. You'll have, see, so we're here to this marker.
Your last marker.
Okay, let's grab him up right there.
Where's he at?
This right, yeah.
Okay.
See what I've designed a little thing there where I can
want to see that.
lock it off and I don't have to fool with it, unwind it and all.
Oops, didn't mean
That's
to.
okay. This marker I dropped. Now, in cases you want to leave it marker to troll, so I'm just teaching right now.
Gotcha.
I saw, if you looked up, those markers were in pretty much of a straight line on this particular one.
Right.
Others, they'll be on a bar or they'll be in and out, just depending on where you're at. Okay, I'll put it on you this side. We'll go into our next one. Got it. We might or we might not find a structural situation.
Okay, you're at 17, 18, 24, 35. Boom, she dropped off.
Boy, see, I
nice
know
break there at about 35.
That's all I hear, but
Yeah, there's real
you'll
nice.
be surprised.
Yeah.
You will find here a very, very good break line at sanctuary depth.
Yeah.
You could not take a pencil and paper and draw a better situation.
Now you're really placing a heavy emphasis on the sanctuary depth as being 35 feet. I'm not disagreeing with that, but it would seem to me that based on lake conditions, a clearer lake, it might be deeper or so. But most everybody I've talked to here in the last couple of days, boy, that's ingrained in their mind. 35 feet.
Well, that's what
we're
Mr.
looking for.
Perry says. 30, 35 feet. Normally, over and over and over, I'm saying normally, if it's a clearer lake, the sanctuary depth might be 50 feet.
You do the same procedure, but then you just substitute 50 feet then, right?
Yes, sir. Or before I would get done, I would tell you, if conditions are so bad and there's water below the 30, 35 feet, they'll take it. But I would rather try to fish in a place where the maximum depth was 30, 35 feet. Most of the time I've got good conditions, and if they're in the dormancy and they go down there, I can still reach him real good because he can't get away from it.
Well,
So
that's
the
worth the
magic,
price of admission. I misunderstood some of that. I'll let you know when you tell me. 2019. You're into it now. That's 13. There was a little one there right at 15.
Yeah. Well, first of all, 30, 35 feet is deep enough that regardless of where the sanctuary depth is, you're still ready to head back to the bank to look for the shallow break line.
Okay.
If the first break line here was at 30, 35 feet down there, it's so deep. I'd hunt for me another place to fish over a period of time.
Okay.
But you've got to select. See, you are here fishing and mapping, interpreting this area. Chase is sitting there taking his pictures. This area, you treat it as your lake within a lake because you in my boat and you ain't going nowhere else. There's all kinds of reasons. So, you know, and I just do that to be impressive. I'm not doing it to be cute or anything like that.
I understand what you're saying. Now, eventually here, because there's a bay up there, we ought to be hitting a feeder stream here sometime.
Well,
I mean, if we don't, then I wonder how that bay got there.
yeah.
Yeah, you're deep enough here, 43.
And again, if I'm looking straight up a creek or a bay or whatever, I still go, you know, I force myself for these straight
Just
lines.
pay attention to
And
this.
you know as well as I do, if I run up on the side of that and it's a perfectly smooth bar and I turn back out, I've made myself a bar that isn't there in the wind. That's quick, isn't it?
Boy, there's that one at 15 again. She's leveled off now. She's leveled off at about 14, but there's that's at 15. Now this is the shallowest break that you were talking about, but it's a little deeper here than it was over there. But we're still looking for the shallowest break.
Yeah, but as you go down, your break line's going to get deeper and deeper and deeper.
Well, that
but
makes
this
sense.
much of a distance, maybe you can notice something, and maybe you can't.
Okay.
But I could even be throwing it on a little hump at one time. But when I go back and analyzing, this is all going to become relevant. You see?
Okay.
You're going to.
Yeah. Now we're just going now between these
going
markers.
line straight up. Now look up through there and see. See, we got
Yeah.
a little. See how we got a little crook in it there now?
Well, that's because this one's 14 feet. My guess would be if we were had. Okay.
I'm just watching out through there and chase you. I start at the marker and I get as close to it as I can, and I'm going just as straight as humanly possible
Right.
to my next marker. Anytime I see anything exciting, well, that's what the fish will see.
Right. And the whole purpose here is to see if there's a path from the deepest to the
We're
shallows.
trying to find a cut. See, we're on the break line. We're on the crest of the break line, right at the break, rather. It might not be the crest. And we're looking for something that cuts through it. And if we don't find that something that cuts through it, we keep going until we do.
You do.
Because we have a floodplain that is so wide that if we don't find a cut somewhere,
Fish will never know the
the
shallows.
fish will never know where.
Okay.
So we got to our first marker here, and I didn't see anything.
Nope.
Okay. Now I'm headed for my next marker. If we find anything, you certainly are going back to that area to even start looking in the future.
Yeah, you're deep enough. You're 40. I'm like you. You're talking. I'm listening. It's hard to.
Yeah, I know it. I just don't allow myself to step on out and just go to a situation and show it when it's so scary, at least to me, when I get on a strange water, this gets so scary. But if I do this,
Yeah.
then
Very predictable.
yeah,
Or another little brake line there about 8 feet
break.
or so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay, you're on top for now. This is getting deeper now. Yeah. 4 feet deep.
okay.
There was your cut.
We'll go back and get it, Chase.
Okay. Cuts because the fingers on the brake line can be showing us, right?
You would more or less treat that as a bar.
Okay.
See,
Gotcha.
you learn how to analyze what you're looking at, and we'll look at a situation like a bar, and you would if your brake line is like that. Now we're going right down, and again we're right against their markers. You always keep the markers on the deep side and your boat on the shallow side.
Okay.
And then when you
Okay.
remember now,
For mapping them.
remember straight lines. It has to be a straight line, and the novices I show them that there's your cut. Period. Bang. Bingo. Right there. Stop.
No, next one down. Next two down. There you go. There.
Yeah, that shows real well.
And looking at it, looks like it goes
Yeah.
down 24 feet. Looks like this side of it here is a little bit steeper.
Okay,
So
we'll
that's
lay
the
some of this off,
Oh, okay.
and then you can get a video, and we'll move back out here. We'll freeze that in the center, and you can get a video, and I would talk to you about how and where you would fish to your this 32 feet that you're thinking
Okay.
about or whatever.
Okay.
Guys, to the shallows. Now why? You got to analyze both sides of that cut through that brake line, a delta if it's a delta. You got to analyze both sides because it's got to go all the way to the deepest, and we're up on the top. It's got to go all the way to the shallows if it is a structure situation.
Now, when you say analyze both sides, you mean the upstream and downstream sides?
No, I mean the in and out side
Okay.
to the bank.
Okay, the
to
shallow and
shallows,
deep water side.
and then to the deepest.
All right.
Now I tell them to start their interpretation towards the shallows, basically for this one reason. It can be a notch, a little cut back in there that just goes 12 feet, 5 feet, 30 feet, whatever. It can be a very, very hot spot at any point in time other than spawn time. The spawns are the migration routes of the structure situations. It goes all the way to laying the eggs.
Okay.
And they'll move back out here and hang around. A lot of times they use this in the summer, but your cuts that just go part of the way, at times they're loaded with fish.
In the spawn.
After the spawn.
Or after
After the spawn.
In
No, the ones that go all the way are-
summertime,
right.
You'll find them because if this were a cut that it can be caused by a barge or just a little wash through, or it can be like if you've got a delta situation that goes up and then down, and some of them go up and then down. This is a gradual thing here. It could come out and go down and be no delta. It could just come down and be the brake line. But if you've got this situation, you can have a cut through that will show right like this, and a fish will use that corner just like this, but it doesn't go across the flat.
Gotcha.
So they stop right here 90% of the fishing season, just loaded up.
And that's how they can get
and this is what had me so very, very worried. How in the world can I see that? And I'm out in the middle of the lake, and this, see, Mr. Perry took me to a lake that was dried out, a section of a flood control lake that was wet this arm, it was dry. And I stood and looked at, he showed me, it had two migration routes. One was a mile up the valley, and the other one was right there in front of us, and it had another good-looking place there, and it had a good-looking bar with willow trees and all on it, right on out from that. And the right-hand bank was away over to the right-hand bank. With it full of water, it looked fishier than the left-hand bank.
Okay.
But there was a little creek right through here, and right up here was a creek that nice little creek that went right out, and it stopped in the middle of that field. Did not go anywhere close all the way. So then I covered it up with water in my mind and said, how can I see that cotton picking stuff? So I saw if I get against the bank and go all the way across, when I hit the creek, I drop my marker. Go all the way across, I saw nothing. And I just do this back and forth and then follow it like we're doing here.
Right, right.
I would have followed that creek up to the dead end, and I would have known it's dead. Even where the trees were down at the bottom of that good-looking bar, there was about a 25-foot flight.
Flat.
He said, it's dead, Jack, unless they go up here and migrate over there. There was this little gully
See,
that went out.
if you get a chance, tell Mr. Perry you ought to get a picture of that. You know what I mean?
He's got pictures of it.
Well, then you ought to distribute the picture.
Well, I think he's got them on one of his lessons, and I think he's used it on one of his seminar, one of his things.
Now you're saying it's dead, but you said that sometimes there can be a lot of fish on the channel side of that?
Yep.
Even though it doesn't go all the way.
No, you're right. In fact,
And he does say that in his book, but I
it's
don't
not
do
as
anything with
impressive.
it.
It's not as impressive
Yeah.
as when you come and look at it.
Yeah, we got to pick up your third. We have one extra marker here. Yeah.
I would suggest you get a bunch of those little flat ones that stack up on one another.
Yeah.
You can put them out and turn around and lose them.
Yeah.
But if you're checking out a creek, you've got your two markers. You've got your markers out here, and you're working back in through there. Then it's easy to find them if you happen to lose them.
Yeah, yeah.
Plus they're little, they're out of the way, and they're just you can carry lots of them, and they're neat to use. And the fact that I haven't got them makes this class awkward because I can't really show enough, and I've got markers at home. I just ran off.
Well, I tell you what. I mean, seriously, Jack, I've got 10 of them in my boat. If you want for these next couple days, if you're going to take other people out, I'll give you half a dozen of them.
Why don't you give them to me? I might borrow them.
Well, that's what I meant.
Okay.
And if I don't get them back, I mean, it's not the price of the lesson. How's that?
But I get out here and I start analyzing in, and I got my yellow. Now, if I drop some of the creeks, you drop the marker in the center. Some of it you drop it on the upstream or downstream. Depends on how wide the
She's
creek
dropping
is.
off now. She's dropping off now. It's right in the center. Now we're up on the other end.
Okay. We dropped that other one on the top side, I think. So I go out and I'm going. Now, if the thing is crooked, I could turn into it right here. And maybe I do. I don't know. But they will meander. They're just little drainage. And were you all there when Frank was at his motorhome talking about? Were you there when he was talking about what they was going to teach and handed out those little papers?
We're into her now.
Right. See, I would drop it back there.
She
And
could-
you
it
can
could
see how far down here it is?
Yeah, she could be swinging around here.
Would you drop them all on the same side of the cut?
Yes, if I choose the upside, I drop them all on the upside. That is just to discipline myself.
Okay.
Because when you get real crooked,
Yeah.
if you don't know they're on the upside
Yeah.
or in the center, if you don't know where you're dropping them, then you can be off a mile.
Yeah.
I mean, too far to,
I understand what you're saying.
Again, what we're doing here is a matter of discipline. I'm not saying you couldn't find this without your markers or any other part of the country. But if you're a beginner, you can go back home and do this the rest of your life. And quit doing it anytime you don't need to. It's
Out there.
It does. It goes plumb into nothing.
Yeah.
And I just talk
Did
our
you
way
see that, Chase?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't much of anything.
Really flat?
And I might miss it as I turn around. It just gets, but you.
Yeah. My guess would be if you had the gray line stronger, that'd probably be all silted in, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
it gets. Yeah. But see, they can even use the silted part as difference between hard and soft. They know, and
Well, I'm trying to see it. It may have gone away here.
it's awfully easy to go around. See there where I've got some
There you go.
more
Now
up
you
there.
just hit her there. She's.
See?
Now
Just
the
a
other
little
thing
bit.
that's a little bit tricky about that, though, Jack, is that's deeper. Oh no, that was right. We were on the cut. It was 24 feet out there, so she still is deeper. Okay.
Now remember this:
Yeah.
water goes downhill.
Yeah.
And if
yeah.
it winds up being deep here and out there, then you've got a hole on the way.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And that well could have been. Now Frank was telling them up there at the motorhome the other night, said you can look back in where we teach our spawning area,
Yeah.
and you see a couple of valleys. It's got cattails in them. That's where the old creeks come in forever, and it's marshy areas right there. They
Right.
are.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just over in the corner where
cattails
that
up
discolored tree's at. I don't know if you can see it, Chase.
Let's see.
There's one shorter discolored tree there, and there's kind of a purple.
Oh yeah, right in the marsh.
Yeah, right in there. It's almost in the shadow.
Kind of go out each side, and if you were saying something about back next to that island, it was lower than it was out here, but it gradually comes up, and it's like I wouldn't really call that a delta right there because it's just a little valley-like, and it's long ways out. This gradually gets higher to the delta and then drops off. I mean, to the break line and then drops off.
Yeah.
And I like to think of a delta as more sharper.
Right.
Because you were draining from there over here and the island down here, and it ran around this way, and it joined this area, and it got into your creek here, and then it zigzagged its way out and cut through over here. But what it did, it comes back in here, and it peters out at the bar off of that island right there.
Okay. Okay.
So your fish are brought back in through here by the stream. Even if your silt's there, they still see it because they're still using it today. And then when they peter out, then they start seeing the bar.
Okay. 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 I got you. I got you. So this one here, because it led through the flat from the channel, this is would be viewed as reasonably productive or potential for productive.
Well, they are used. It's a known fact. This is a known fact. It wouldn't be it isn't to you because you don't know.
Yeah.
And I've never caught fish, but Frank and him catch fish here, and it's just known that it is.
Okay.
But in your analyzing the thing, this is the way that you would work back, and you analyze all the way to 10 feet. That's all the way. It does not have to go to zero. And this, I guess, is a real good teacher right here because the creek comes part of the way. Your little valley comes, it comes in, and it just peters out right here at our bar. Now we've got the bar.
The bar to take us to the shallows.
It takes us right to the shallows.
Okay. Okay. That's a good point.
Don't talk and do anything real well, but
We're at 19. You're doing just
Now I'll just kind of straight line her right through here, and I think you'll see it break up. If it don't, we'll get a little closer.
back to 8. Yeah. So there's a little taper to it. She's going back down. You got it.
So it just works right on out. Now, if it goes all the way, I've got to analyze it all the way. So that's the reason I chose towards the shallows before I choose towards the deeper.
Right.
If it had petered out right there, then I'm still got to go back and analyze it all the way to the deep water.
Okay.
Now, it's the contact point, it's a fishing area no matter which one it is. When you find the cut through, it's a fishing area no matter what. If it is a structural situation, it comes all the way, then you've got your structure situation, and that's what they're using in the spawn time of the year.
Okay. But now let's follow that one step further. Let's say we went out here and that deepest or the shallowest break line was say 18 feet, and you came along and you found a cut, but the cut only went back physically 2 boat lengths or 3 boat lengths. Then what do you classify that? You classify that as trolling water to troll that break line?
No.
You'd actually use it as fishing water.
That is a fishing area.
Okay.
That is a yes. That is a fishing area.
See, I would have done it as trolling water. I would have done it as I was going from feeder stream to feeder stream because the feeder streams go all the way. If I'd have seen a little wash, I would have said, yeah, I'll make my passes there, but I'm not going to park there and spend a lot of time.
If you see breaks along the structure, you've got trolling areas, and those would be the hot spots. And this is especially true on riprap on a dam, or riprap on a
causeway or
whatever, because you will find piles of rocks out.
Yep.
And those are well, actually on the riprap they're migration routes too, but they are magnets, and the fish will hold there. And the same way on a long straight break line, if you find a cut. And I think I can show you one down here.
I got you.
But now remember, when you started interpreting from the cut back this way, you found out real quick if it was 30 feet long or not, or ever how long.
Right.
And you might think you're lost, but you go, you work it. See, now you work. Where in the world are we? See how?
Yeah, that's a quarter mile at least.
That's the reason. See, that's the reason your markers are important.
Oh yeah.
You just seems like no matter how good you are, you're just better if you just, and especially if you think you're doing everything right and you're failing, especially you go, I'll put my markers out, and then you realize.
Yeah.
And I had a real good spoonplugger, probably a better spoonplugger than me. He was telling me all about this island under the water, and how he figured it looked and everything, and he says, well, let's just put our markers out and we'll just have to look at it. And man, it was a long area. I'm talking about like from here back to camp. And this was an underwater bed. We went up through there, dropping the markers, and we dropped at least 4, but we dropped them a long ways apart.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we had 4 markers from here back to camp.
Yeah, I'd have more than 4.
But we got out, we got the last one out, I would have too.
Yeah.
When we got the last one out there and looked back, one of those things was way out in the lake. He said, well, I didn't know that run out there like that. And I said, you would have if you'd have marked.
That's right. I'm a firm believer. Markers and a pencil and paper. I mean, if you don't use those, you don't know what's out there. I mean, and just as good as markers are, when you sit down and try to draw it, that's when you go, I don't know what to draw. And you find these holes in your drawing. We can pick up any of them?
Yeah,
Okay.
upstream and downstream from your cut through. I don't have them, so I'm going to have to take them up.
Pull them up,
and,
spread them out a
and
little bit.
sometimes this is causing me to have sloppy presentation to you because I lose my own self. If they're not out there, you don't see them and you can't refer to them. Oh, there's you another one.
Got my hair.
I'm analyzing the deep water side now, and I want to work my markers out to the corner,
Okay.
the break line corner and the creek corner.
Okay, it's right at that intersection where this one comes in and drops into the channel.
Right.
You
I
do both?
try to get that rascal as close as I can. Some of them are a lot easier than others, and it's a whole lot easier anytime when you're doing it and not talking. But I never place a marker.
He's dropping.
I never. He's back there on it. Okay. I've already gone over it, haven't I?
Yep.
Okay.
You might have to
I never remove a marker until I replace
place
it.
it.
Now you're marking the outside edges of it,
I'm trying to work my creek out to the corners where it cuts through the break line.
so you're pinpointing the corners.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Upstream and downstream.
Watch yourself, man. You're getting close. It looks like you might be on it right now.
Yeah, but I'm
You
gonna
do it again? Okay.
go around here and try to get the. See, I'm on the downstream. See how that thing comes in
Yeah.
right there real sharp. And they're dropping your markers and start looking. Now, see, I can go back and take that one. And let's get this one too.
Okay.
But now,
Yeah.
and when we start presenting lures, it really gets to be important to have them.
But I haven't found a foolproof way to make sure I don't hit my markers on occasion. Especially when I'm running long wire.
Well, true. That's one good way to help, and
Yeah.
and one way is to set them on the upstream side so that they float across your creek, and you can't get through, so you have to go around. That shows you if they're if you're on the unwind side, if you're on the upstream side, you never know where that is. Get this.
Yeah. And what's really demoralizing is when you're, like I say, if you're trolling 20, 25 feet deep and you hit one, you think you got a fish.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, I'm into something. Oh,
Yeah.
darn it, it's my marker. You know?
Okay, now we're on the corner of that creek.
Yeah.
If I'm doing this right, we're going to go straight out, right in a straight line out. Now let's see if we can find our drop off.
Now you want the edge of this.
Yeah, I want as soon as I start breaking down.
Where's she coming at? Come on. Come on. She's taking her time here, Jack. We must have had one of. I know we missed it.
Is that it?
Yeah, it's a little
I'm looking
something.
upside down.
That's harder than heck. Now
Well,
she definitely took off there.
Yeah, okay.
She took off there.
I just got excited.
Boy, she really took
Give us a holler.
Looked like she leveled.
Yeah,
She's
that's
leveled.
good
Yeah,
now.
you're leveled.
Now,
Now that's funny over there though. We didn't hit it real clean. There was something a little bit different there. It wasn't
Okay.
nearly as
okay,
pronounced as this.
okay, let's
What you
get-
did get out there though, you're just a few feet away from looks like another break.
Yeah, we're right in our creek now, right?
Now we're- she's dropping right into
getting
it.
right in our creek here. Okay. I see that one's just a little bit out of the way there. Screw right at it.
Now you're actually in the creek now.
Yeah. Yeah, I just turned and I'm coming out. See the thing right down in the bottom of the creek
Yeah.
there? Now I'm going towards this corner right here. See where my marker? Now see if we come up right here.
She should start there. She goes.
Yeah.
She's coming up real fast.
Okay.
Yeah, she's
That
coming up real
thing's
fast.
not
You're
as
up on
far.
top of her.
That thing's not as far. Right there it is.
Well, I don't know why. I mean, she's showing 50. Nothing.
See
Coming
right
up
there,
17,
right there,
60.
see
You
right
got it.
there's your marker.
That one's
there's
right
your
on the line.
corner.
Now you have 4 markers set out.
Right, and I wished I had more.
So the two at the farthest out to the deepest are the actual deeper break?
That's the corner.
The corner.
That's the corners of the creek.
And the two inside are just to mark the edges of it?
They're the edges of the creek going back in there.
Right.
We can
Okay.
take those up and bring them on out and
Kind of leapfrog our way out.
Yeah, yeah, that's what we're doing. And I'll go back and pick them up now. See, now we're getting the face of the break off now into the channel. See? And these keep rounding off, and you don't look like you've got the break. See, what's happened, it looks like you're far off, but what's happened, these corners have eroded off.
Right, right.
And your break out here is sharp. That's the reason I say you've got to have these out on the face so that you can really orient yourself. Because when you go through here, it's going to go down and it's going to go way up there because these corners are off and they're rounded like this now, see? But they're still the shoulders and the contact point. The contact points are down here. And let's see if...
You want to pick up these shallower ones or what?
We'll go ahead and pick up the shallow ones and I'll see if I can get it in a straight line then and show you down there in between the two. It's awfully hard to see with just 4 markers.
No, I know what you mean.
That creek is not very wide and it's real sharp. But the further out here it gets, the more it is eroded through this break line. See, we were up on the crest. And if we had come in real close to the mouth of this creek to throw our shallowest break line that we were seeing, we'd be way back in here somewhere. And if we just went down there and didn't get it past it, it would be a gap back in here because it's all eroded away. And let's see if we can see that right here. I think that we're back up on the break line enough now.
Yeah, we're
back in. Now let's see just how little that creek looks back in here away from the corners.
okay.
Of course, if you got rocks on the corners and everything, it won't erode
It won't
away.
erode,
One
does it?
side might and one side might not.
There she goes. She's down now. She's back up. She is.
One side's thicker than the other. One side's harder.
Yeah, you got, this could be debris in there. It can be just any, it can be muck, it can be soft, and this is quicker. I don't know, when you fish that, it doesn't matter what it is. But this shows you how narrow it is back just as soon as you get back off of that break line. And this can be stuff, see, this is the downstream side, and it can just be silt and stuff hanging there that's,
Yeah.
Well, the upstream side would typically be cleaner. I mean, as the current's coming through, it's going to wash it all away.
That's true.
So you can see there and see how narrow and sharp that is. Then we'll try to look out here and see how much it rounds off. And if you just picture that creek, it's just radiusing off and getting deeper and bigger and deeper and bigger. Now that stuff that's washed out, even still today, if you're getting any washes, it can still be piling up down there right today. But you can bet your hind leg there's some down there. Get that marker right there, Bob.
Well, that could.
And there's nearly always a pile of stuff at the bottom of a creek. Nearly always. Now, you do want to hit that if it's your 30 feet deep, and we're getting into your question. When do I go that deep?
Okay, you want to fire him back up again? The chart?
Yeah, let's see, where's my other? I don't know.
We're right here. We're both right here.
Filters right on down into the bottom, and I've got to have my markers to do it because I'm just as lost as anybody else. If you can't, you know, you don't. You'd be surprised at what you think you're seeing, and when you get to dropping these and going in a straight line, what you're really seeing. It's just surprising. But down in it.
Yeah, some reason she's holding at 14. I don't think that's on there. She is 15. Okay.
As soon as it drops down far enough, we can turn around.
Yeah.
Some of them are so much sharper than this, and you can drop it right on the gnat's whisker. Now, as soon as I break, well, I want to drop it. We've got something that's...
I don't know about that. This one here we threw and that one there.
Free or something.
Yeah.
Let's see what we've got.
Well, that yellow one we threw, I think we had trouble with that one.
Okay, it's probably floated off. That's the reason I was kind of fooled, I guess. Here her benefit. You just watch her when she drops down.
Yep. Boom, boom, she went down. There's even something on the edge.
But it's getting deeper, deeper,
Boom.
deeper.
Yep.
See?
Yep.
Because we're on the outside of the. See?
Yep.
See the.
Yep. The further out you go, the deeper it goes. There's no doubt about it.
It still looks like you're up on the top or something, but you're down on the face, and it's cut through. Now I'm gonna go back up through there again, and I'm gonna be out a little bit further this time. And all I'm doing now is paralleling my reference points.
You're trying to pinpoint like a casting area or an area where
I'm
you...
just showing you what. Yeah, just goes
what's
down,
there.
down, 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 down.
Yeah.
Yeah. What we're looking. See, that's cut all the way down through that thing, and it's going all the way to the bottom of the lake, all the way to the bottom of the. It's just.
She's broken in there.
See.
25 feet. There's 25 feet at the bottom.
Okay, see that?
Yeah. So she's dropping deeper.
It's deeper, deeper. We're going to turn around and keep it going. Now this, you work this out. But see, right there was your crest.
Yep.
Now, and we'll talk this in a minute. We'll talk about how to troll it.
Okay.
And I think this will help you. I think you're
doing just fine, Jack, for me.
Now see, we're out here a pretty good ways now, and I don't know if we're out so far we're not going to get. How deep are we there?
No, it's still only 15.
Right here, read that right there.
That's 15.
Don't read this. Read this.
Oh,
right
okay.
here. Or
Well,
what
that's 60.
scale am I on?
I got you. I understand what you're saying. Mine's the same way. Yeah, you're 15 and a half, 16.
Okay.
It's pretty close.
Okay.
Oh, boom, she's gone down. She's gone down. 24, 25. That's gave a reading of 24.
Now see, you start getting stuff here.
Yes. Now, where this actually finally does break through the face, as we go into the main channel,
With my face.
Well, my experience is though, as you go into the main channel, you're going to find crap
That's what I was talking about a while ago.
down below in the main channel.
Right.
Yeah. So it's
Right.
rocks you were talking about, and
That's exactly what I was talking
sometimes the trees and stuff though, they get blown away. If there's any current in the main channel, it seems like it washes
about. Yeah, but
away.
you got rocks and big hard stuff.
But the
and all
rocks
that.
stay-
It's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just depends.
Boom. Now she goes. Okay, that's maybe 25, 26 feet. Yeah, she's getting deeper.
So from this cut, there could be a lot of stuff down quite a bit deeper.
Absolutely.
That's what you're looking for.
Well, he's saying it's
Yeah.
like debris type or...
Yeah.
What you're doing is working down to the contact point. See? Now, along the face of this thing, again, I wish I had some markers I could even do myself a better job.
Yeah. Okay, she's
Now we're
going
in
down
20.
now 24, 30.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Still
I'm
see
still
it
reading
down
with
there,
the brightness
21.
there.
Now, see,
Yeah, you're pretty close to 30
See
feet
your
there.
stuff piling in there.
Yep.
But now the thing you can see is that it's widened out that whole area. See your creek. You remember we stopped the camera up there and saw the little bitty narrow creek.
Yeah, yeah.
Now the thing is real. We're quite a few feet long out here.
Yeah.
But we're still, when we get down to the depth, see, we're showing the creek here, way down deep here.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you got to remember, it's on the face of this spray. You know, when you start. See if we
Yeah,
can
we should
pick
be
it up.
coming on any
Now,
second.
you can be dropping your markers and working out here, but I'll tell you what you do here. And
what happened here? We didn't do. There it comes. Okay, here she comes. I can
yeah,
see
it's
it.
still working on
Yeah.
down. It'll work itself. Come on down.
Yeah,
to-
that was down around 30, I don't know, 30-ish feet.
And it just kind of gets hard to see. It back in the other side of the cut of the delta, it was a sharp little creek,
Right.
and then we cut through the delta, and then it started rounding out from that, and rounding
Right,
out.
we saw it on there.
But we still seeing this little creek. But what we think is the break line. We're running a contour.
Okay.
See,
Okay.
we had our break line up here. Now let's say for talking, let's say that was, what was it, 16 feet
Say,
roughly?
sure.
Okay. Now we moved out parallel and we dropped down to, let's say we dropped down to 19 feet. Now we go along there at 19 feet, and when I get to the creek, I'm down here 19 feet. I'm 3 feet lower than where I started. I still got my little creek, and I come here, now I still got the creek
Little
there.
notch. There's a little notch.
But in addition to coming on out, it's dropping down. Then when I come out here and get what were we?
Oh,
19 feet.
Sure.
Let's say we go down to 21 feet now. And we parallel right back holding a 21-foot contour line, and we get, there's that little V creek again. But the thing is now 6 or 8 feet deeper. And then the last time you read, I think, was 30 feet.
Right.
So we go parallel, and we got, that line was real
Coming
straight.
across, and there's that little
we
notch
thought we
again.
missed it. There's that little creek, and that perfect little wrestle is just like a waterfall.
That's right.
Excuse me. It's. You ever hear of a waterfall ditch? That's what.
Yeah.
But that's trying. But each time, it's rounding off. So we get a sharp corner, and then as it comes down here, and it can also turn up or down, and you keep it going out, and you start seeing the muck laying down there, and we never did run to the exact bottom end, but.
Now what's the channel out here? What's the main channel depth out here? If we were to run.
Real deep.
Pardon me?
Real deep.
Real deep.
You followed this down to the sanctuary.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Now you said a while ago that you saw a break line at 30 feet.
Yeah.
30, 35 feet.
Yeah, it was off one of these markers. I can't remember which one.
Well, it's several places
Does it
up
run?
there. We'll just see if it's here. But
Over 20.
you can go to your wire, and you can have your. Again, you need your markers up on the crest, and you're kind of paralleling. Now you don't contour that deep or anything,
Right, it's gotta
but
be-
you can sort of ease into you bumping as long as you can't. If you get to bumping too much, then you just kind of ease out. That's not contoured. You call it snaking, whatever. You
Yeah.
cannot walk it against there all the time. First of all, you wouldn't know where you're at.
Right.
And you can't let it not bump all the time because you won't catch any fish. So it's really a kind of a move in and move out sort of a situation. But I'd like to go over real thoroughly with you. Now you see,
Back 30
you
feet.
had a break.
There you go.
I'm upside down, and I'm just sorry.
Well, you're shallower than it now, but not by much. You're just up on it just a little
Okay.
bit.
So if I go on in, there's a little shelf like right there, right at the sanctuary. Now, you would present your lures all along the top, whatever. Now, if you're fishing this, you're interested in the deep, and I know that, but I'll go over the shallows.
Go ahead.
You would start with your 500 there and fish that bar. And fish it all around that bar and all the way out and curl around that bar, that island, excuse me.
We talked about it.
Real good till you're 10 feet deep. And of course your 500's up here. That's what Mr. Perry calls straining the water. When I get 10 foot out here, I go to my 400 and I go pretty much the same track and I start moving in. And I move in until my 400 bumps.
Okay.
And I want it to bump around across that bar, in this case that bar real good. If it were a creek that went all the way, I would want to be sure that I was walking each side of that creek.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Then when that bumped, I would put on my 250, and I'm talking about like 3 colors now.
I got you.
Or 2 colors now.
Sky Noble.
Let's say 2 colors because you're in better control. And I would move around, and of course my 250's bumping. I would move all the way out to 10 feet.
Okay.
Then I put on my 200. And maybe I'm bumping right then. I would let out my 2 colors and I'd go around that contour of my 10 feet. I'd move back out. And I would move in until my 200 bounced real good and bounce it around that rascal. And then you're working out into the creek area now. How deep was that creek area? It was right at 12 feet, wasn't
Something
it?
like that,
So,
yeah.
so I would get, I could let out more line on my 200 and pretty much walk that rascal. And I'd be sure I walked out to where my creek started. I could start seeing my creek, and I go upstream and downstream from it, just serpentine, and I would walk as long as I could keep it tipping the bottom when I wanted to. So I want to make sure if I can hold my rod up and I'm trolling along.
Yeah,
When I get close to where that creek is, I let my rod down and I make that rascal walk off of that shoulder down and up over this, out as far as I can reach. Now, when I can't reach with, like, say, 3 colors, I don't like to go more than 3 colors anytime.
Right. And it's
But
running
when my
100.
3 colors and 200 won't reach anymore, put on my 100 and I work him on out.
Okay.
Now that was, we said 16 feet a while ago.
Something like that.
So
yeah.
I would just come as far as I could, we'll say, and if I'm still bumping when I get to my delta or my brake line, if I'm still bumping with my 100, I go all the way up that thing and all the way down. If not, I put on my 700.
Okay, so now what you've done so far is we've covered the bar, and we've done it with the whole series, the 3 shallow running
Out to,
lures.
right.
And then from the bar, we followed the feeder stream cut.
We crossed it.
Crisscrossing.
We're not going up and down.
Right. Okay, yeah, we crisscross, serpentine or crisscrossed it back and forth.
Yep.
Following it all the way. Now we got to the brake line that was the 12 or 14 foot brake line. Actually, the one that was, it's kind of like out there.
Right.
And then what you're saying is that in that case, since the brake line's at 12 to 14, 15 feet, you'd go upstream and downstream along the edge of that brake line.
Right.
Okay.
I'm crossing my creek till I get out to where it cuts through the delta or through the brake line.
Gotcha.
And in this case, it's the 100's going to do it.
All right.
If it took the 700, that's what it takes.
Whatever it takes.
If it took the
Right.
200,
Right.
we work out, and then when we're working where it cuts through the brake line, through the delta,
Right, through the
or
face.
through the brake,
Gotcha.
then we run up, and we've got markers upstream and down, and we run all the way up through there bumping it. Now, say we're doing this with 2 colors.
Okay.
Then I would let out 1 more color and get me 3 colors. Now I'm working that thing down on the face of the brake line.
Going into the main
Right.
channel.
Now, and when I go across the top of the brake line where the brake, I'm snaking it.
Okay.
I'm going to the right of it, to the left of it, and to the right of it. I'm just making sure my lure's walking up and off, and I got my wife, I'll make sure hers does the same thing. And then get down on the face. And I've let out my color, and my 100 is just barely off of that brake because of the 16 feet, if I'm lucky enough to reach it. Then, when I approach the cut through, where we watch the V go all the way down to the 30 feet,
Gotcha.
I try to get my boat to go up in that creek. I try to make very, very sure. Here's the creek where it's breaking through. And I'm coming down.
And the channel's over here. The main
The
channel's
channel's right here.
Okay.
Now, as I come down, I go in against the channel and out, and in against the channel and out, simply to make sure my lure's in position.
Sure.
I don't call that contouring.
Right. No, I understand what you mean.
But I try my best, and I do it until I do it. To when I get to my markers setting up here, I angle my boat in, and I want this thing to walk around. I don't care if it actually walks a little bit too heavy, because I've got to be sure that it walks.
Right there.
I want it walking, yes.
Right there.
Because I want it walking around, and I want it to start up that creek. Because that rascal's laying down there, he'll nail it. And I want it to run free, and I want to walk it around this one the same way. And then I go in and out up to a good distance. And then I put on my 700. And I do exactly the same thing. I go like my 2 colors, and I run them down through here, and I try to do the same walk in and walk out here. Then I let out another color, 3 colors, and that puts my 700 down. You can figure out how far
Whatever. I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
And then I come back with my zigzagging, and I try to walk him around this.
Right into it.
Now remember that face of that brake
It's
line
more
is
like
this,
that.
and it actually gets, and it's rounded.
And there might be stuff here kind of
Absolutely.
sticking up a
But
little.
what I'm doing is I'm walking it down until I get to that place. And I walk it in and out, and I get down here to 30, and you saw that nice little brake line. Well, you're going to be out here now. You're going to be in and off of that brake line all the way. And that's sanctuary, and that's real good, perfect. And now I try to do the same thing forever. And then when I work all the way down, and I go to my 800s, and I try to hit that little pile of stuff. Even if I go to 90 feet down through there, and it's going out, there's still going to be a pile of stuff there. There's going to be some heavy rocks and stuff right down at the bottom, and you just hit that, and you're pretty much straight lining when you get down there.
Right. Okay.
And but try, you got your 700, and you're trying to get it to walk around here, but you walk all the way till you can't see that V anymore, and then you make sure that you get your go to wire, whatever.
Okay.
And you get that part right there.
Okay.
And
that makes sense.
And you can fish this brake line out away from here as long as you want to. And
now, where would you park? Let's say you do that, 9 o'clock in the morning, and you've done it, and you haven't hit any fish for whatever reason. Now what? Where would you then spend the next 4 hours? Up here at the break, at the the main channel break where it crosses the feeder creek? Would you just go to the sanctuary depth and try to hit that one?
You're pretty dormant in the sanctuary depth. But when you fish this casting, you're going to be using vertical jigs and everything.
Right, casting, I can't use spoon plugs. I tried in 30 feet, you just can't, it doesn't do it.
Right, not casting, especially with your current. And you got to have a pretty heavy sinker to get down there. But a worm is fine. A Hopkins spoon is pretty good if it's heavy enough.
But would you park and cast then, or would you just proceed to troll back and forth, say at the top break line, or the intermediate break line, or the sanctuary break line?
If I was going to fish that area, I would use what I would have to say. I would have to guess this is a combination of the two. I would vertically fish it. Vertically jig it.
Vertically jig the spoon.
Because I like to have an electric motor, and I don't have it, but I've got one I'm set back here, and I can do it backwards. But get you an electric motor and put you a transducer on the bottom of it, and you just swap it down, and you can vertically jig from the top to the bottom the rest of the year if you want to. When he gets active, he's going to appear down at the bottom of that. Or maybe he's laying there dormant, or maybe he's just off of that dormant. And Mr. Perry describes it. And I don't know if you realize it, but a dormant fish is about to die. It's not, I thought all the time that he's like a possum. You insulted him, and he runs down here and insults a while and comes back. And that's not what it is. He is really upset so bad, and he's affected so bad that he's about to die. And they go down there, and Mr. Perry said he's watched them weeks at a time down there with them. And he said they will turn white and pale, and they will actually lay over on their side. And you think they're dying. They don't fin, they don't nothing. You just barely see a lung move every once in a
gill.
But he said after so long of a time, and he said they will start drifting upright. And they'll be that way a while, and at that point in time, maybe these little ones running in and around with them, just right against them and all. And he said, Jack, I studied for days and days trying to figure when those little fish knew to leave. And he said, though, one change that I could always see was the gleam in that big fish's eye. He said his eye changes just a little bit. And as soon as it does, he says, them little fish are out of there. And in thinking it over and everything, I thought, there is some force that causes activity in all creatures, including us.
Yeah.
Okay. It makes sense to me to think that just barely before the big fish become active, so do the little ones. They get the same force. Why wouldn't they? That might be God's way of signaling the little ones to get out of there. So I like to think of, they just feel it just enough ahead of time that they take off. So, but anyway, this gleam is real closely associated with whatever other theories a person might have. But it just makes sense. And another thing while we're talking, I've asked him several times. Now, everything in his literature has been proven over and over. It's nothing left to chance. It is fact. He's studied it, proved it, checked it. So I asked him, I said, if you assume that the sanctuary depth, let's say at sanctuary depth, you've got 1,000 candle powers worth of light down there. And the light, he talks about light penetration. Let's say at that depth, whether it's 30 feet or 40 feet or 50, at that depth, let's assume that they're at 1,000 candle powers worth of light. And that's on a real bright day, they have to go this deep. Now, when it gets cloudy, 1,000 candle powers worth of light depth would be more shallower.
Sure.
Do they move to where they've got a nice, comfortable 1,000 candle powers? He said, Jack, I've never studied enough to comment. So he would not comment, but that's something to think about.
Yeah.
If they go down to get away from light, do they come up to get to it? That's just theory. I mean, that's just something that confuses the issue.
No, but I'm like you. I tried to figure out if there was a way that our observations could give us a better handle on when fish move. I know I've had occasion where I used to drive to and from work along a certain path where there used to be deer, and it was really, and never paid any attention to it, but sometimes when I would go home at 5:30 at night, my God, there's deer all over the place, and to be in that twilight type zone where it's like, it's not real bright, it's not real dark. Come by the next day and they'd be there 3-4 days in a row, and then it's funny, it's like, well, were they always here, or is today the first day that I noticed them? And so then I started to pay attention. It's like, no, they weren't always here. Some mornings when I'd go in, along the expressway, there they'd be, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, and I'm sure you've had the same thing where you've awakened in the morning to the sound of chipmunks and birds, and it was like, well, were they chirping all along? I don't think so. And they started, and I woke up.
Put out a bird feeder and you can read
Yeah,
it. You
yeah.
can tell when to go fishing, you got a bird feeder. Sit on the brake line. But this one comes up and it crests and breaks, and then it's a long ways plumb over close to the island.
Yeah.
Where it starts going down, 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 and then right back up to the island.
So what connection was to the island? What connection did this structure have to the island?
This creek and that bar. They would never cross here and go to that island. There's
I
nothing.
see. But there's a bar that connects to this creek channel here.
You remember the bar right
It's
off
right
the
off
end
that
of the
point.
island?
Right off the end of that
You
island.
know, we followed the creek right back here
Right.
to about 12 feet.
12 feet,
no,
yeah.
Well, it was more shallow than that. I actually didn't follow it all the way. I followed it quite a ways, and I said, it goes and it breaks towards the island, towards that low sunken place. And I'll go take you up there and show you that. And it branches and goes back up to where the cattails are.
Okay.
And you had the drainage right down into here, and you saw that was a real good underwater bar. We were out there quite a ways.
And you could see real well.
Yeah. So the fish would migrate from here back in along that creek. Now if the creek bank goes down, so be it. The creek is there.
They're found.
And it cuts through it too. And it just peters out up there at the base of that bar, but then you've got the bar.
To get the bar to take them further.
Right.
Okay.
You got the bar to take them further. And then if they want to migrate around, if you would ever find a fish up on the side of that island, it came from here. Or on the other end of the island, you've got another creek. But that's a different fishing day.
Right.
Okay. Good.
There shortly.
She's going nuts there for a little bit.
This is Pinky's Point from here on around.
The transducer's in the water, isn't it?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, it's in the water.
Okay.
You'll find it in a minute, I reckon.
It's still going nuts there.
Of course, the lake is down 3 feet.
Yeah.
So you see you got your drop off here. Now, you know you got your drop off down because there's the marker. It's always out on the deep side, but look, you see what happens right here. I'm going kind of straight towards up to the side of my marker.
Okay.
I might not can show it to you without throwing markers myself if I can't with the score.
This is called Pinky's Point?
Yeah, this is beginning of Pinky's Point. Right on around is Pinky's Point. See that right there?
There she goes.
See that right there?
Yep.
Now watch that right there.
No, there's even
Oh, yeah.
See that right there? Now watch it.
There she goes. Oh my. Got a little feeder cut through there or something.
You see it?
Yeah.
You went down, up, across, and down, and up. It's an old stagecoach road.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Okay? And over there is where they had their hospital. And there was a ferry right here. And they used it, was it the Civil War or whatever? And they come right on down out here to see your old creek channel you'd work out here. And then they ferried them over there and back and forth. So when he's talking about his ferry there, now you would see that if you come in and dropped your marker,
Sure.
come back out here and come in and drop your marker and get parallel, you might not, but you'd see it. This gets to be so academic. Down there where I don't have a cut through.
Okay. Okay.
There's no point, if I'm going to troll a situation, I'm going to troll a shallow bar. The shallow break line, the shallow bar, if I'm just going to be trolling, I'm not going to worry about presenting lures on trolling water.
Well, but get back. You're using a bar as an example here. Let's say that we're always dealing with what I call a structure situation, or Buck calls a structure situation, where there is a bar. Now, take this long sweeping bar here. I know that from past experience last year, there's 2 or 3 break lines on this. There's one near the top at 12 to 15 or something. There's one at about 25 or 32. There's one further down. And I guess that's what I was asking, is that on this structure situation, if you don't catch fish when you troll this shallower break line, do you then go to the next one and spend all your time there, or go to the next one? Do you go to the one down at the sanctuary? How deep and where do you spend the bulk of your time?
Okay, where the cut through is.
But what, you're saying there has to be a cut through on the bar, though? Because a lot of the reservoirs I'm at, the bar is a point that leads to a feeder stream that runs by it. There may not be any cut through. So it's not a wide sweeping bar.
Okay, you're talking about like a ridge-like bar.
Correct.
Yeah. Now whether this is a big, wide, sweeping bar.
Yeah.
I would not if I'm fishing this bar, I go and I find my cut through. And
Because it's a wide sweep, it's wide.
And I mark it, and I will fish all the way as deep as I can possibly fish there. Just like out yonder, I fished to 30 feet deep.
Right.
After that, the fish are so darn dormant, I can't catch them. I would try to hit that with my 800 and wire or whatever, and hit that. If there's nothing there, if I were going to set all day and fish like you asked or whatever, I would work from my corner markers into the creek, off to the face with the jump lures from 30 to 16, from 30 to 60, all over that, and I just keep jumping until I got tired or wait. Now, if on up the stream, I would run up the top, and if there's breaks up there and the fish are active, I might hit a fish. But they're active if they're up there. If I am fishing the structure situation, the cut through or the good gouge or whatever, and I'm not catching fish, and I've worked all the way down, I'm not going to spend my time trolling up and down that thing. Because I know the first activity is going to be at that contact point.
Okay.
Does that clear it?
Gotcha.
I would not spend, like here on Pinky's Point, and you've got all of these things around. You can go down there and you can run this 25-foot brake line around this thing, and if it's a bad day, all you're going to get are little bitty spots, Kentucky bass.
Okay.
If that makes you happy, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to waste my time going any deeper trying to catch anything any bigger because they're just so dormant and everything. Now, if you, these stripers, they pile up in those creeks 30 feet deep. That's a shallow movement for them.
Okay.
And they can be very, very active. Now, if that's what I'm fishing is for my stripers, then I present my lures down there and I up the bottom with my wire. But you can see those rascals. They take up a great big space on this thing right here. And there's not much doubt about what he is.
Well, I think some of the confusion is that when I refer to a bar, like in this example here, this is a TVA impoundment. It's a flatland reservoir. You guys have bars here that are as big as some of the natural lakes I fish. I mean, just the bar itself is so big. But if you deal with an impoundment that's say 1,000 acres, I'll get bars that will go to it'll be more of a lowland type situation where the shoreline structures will extend all the way to the deep channel.
That's correct.
There may not be any cut because the shoreline structure extended the channel.
The ridge-like bar.
Yes, yeah. Now, ridge-like bar to me always meant something that was very, very sharp and pointed.
Razorback.
Right.
That was my problem too.
Right, but I guess what you guys are saying, a ridge-like bar, I should use that terminology. The bars I'm talking about may only be 200 feet across, 100 feet across, something like that. But they'll go all the way to either a feeder stream or the main channel.
Okay. Now, that's what I was going to show you on a piece of paper back home.
Okay.
Okay? If you have, now I think, and I'll check with Mr. Perry, I'm telling my people, a ridge-like bar is a bar that is sharp enough to form a light break.
Yeah, I heard that last year.
Generally, I think that would be a pretty good definition. This bar is far too big to create any kind of a light break.
Right.
When you pull in, and I don't know it would depend on water clarity and everything else, but if it gets narrow enough, ridge-like enough, and reaching out to where the light is more concentrated on the crest of that bar than anywhere else, then I think that's a good place to start saying I've got a ridge-like bar.
Okay.
Are we communicating?
No, I think we are. I think, and that is closer to the situation.
Right. Now, you start at your bar, and if you're approaching it from out in the lake, that's all right. But I tell people, start at the shallows and go out until you find the deepest water in the area, or 30 feet. And I know I'm going over and over the same thing.
Don't bother me. Go right ahead.
What's in here?
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. Now, I would start, and I go out until I find my 30 feet of water. I turn and I come right back in. Well, let's get out and just come in this way, and I come in until I hit 12 feet. Now my film says 15. I've changed to 12, and I'll tell you why now. Well, you go out and drop it 12 feet. You go back out to the deepest water, down a comfortable distance, and back in to 12 feet.
Okay.
Go out, back in to 12 feet, all the way around that bar, till you come out here to where it turns out into another bar.
Okay, so I've got the 12-foot contour all
You got
the
it.
way around.
You've made yourself a 12-foot contour. Now, get on the shallow side
Mm-hmm.
and go marker to marker to marker,
Mhm.
exactly like we've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you would want to. Okay, if you find a ditch, sometimes you'll find a gully running down those bars,
Or a finger or something.
or a hump, a finger, a row of rocks. If you find anything between your marks,
Mhm.
you've got to analyze it to the shallows and to the deep.
Mhm.
Now we have got when you get back out and when you start fishing it, you can start like your contour fishing with your 500s
Right.
back here,
Right.
and then you're out to the 10 feet, and then back into your 400, 250, and down. Now, when you get this done, each time you go across here, you want to note, maybe mark the shallowest point here.
Okay.
And then down here, when you're going to mark your shallowest, and you are now laying out that light break right down through here. And then later on, you're going to want to come straight up and down through that thing.
Okay.
But when you get out to here, you have marked with your markers laying at 12 feet.
Mhm.
You can get your boat right against your markers, even when you're doing your trolling, or depending on how big it is,
Okay.
however you do it, you have got the shallows inside your fence.
Okay.
Now you can get just on the outside and start with your 100s and come right up against those markers. And you could straight line this marker, straight line that marker, straight line
Mhm,
and straight
mhm,
line. Then you can work it across here as far as you can reach. Let out another color and do it again. And then go to your 700 and do it again and keep on till you just work this whole area. Now down you would keep analyzing. Then you might have to, if it's a long bar and it's a shallow and keep shallow, then your markers are going to be way out.
Right. Right.
But if you don't, you use this
Run along the series of fingers.
right. Now, if on this ridge-like bar you didn't find any fingers and you fish it through the years, you know if it's going to have fish on it. And if you don't find the fingers or a break or something, then right down here's your contact point, especially if it's into the deepest water. Because if the fish are using it, then that's the only thing that they're going to see. But if you've got a finger over here, then you want to analyze that finger and see if there's anything brings them on up through here. Now, if you fish it out and you fish plumb on down and you don't know how long to stay there, well then I would relate to that finger.
And stay out of there. And stay out.
That's
stay
where I
out
would
of it.
stay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, that's
Or if
what
you find two until you find out which one they're using the most, or whatever.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
now let's see. Are we going up on a?
We're off here. We're unplugged. You unplugged us.
Oh, I'm
Remember?
sorry.
That's
It's more crooked than that one down there, although it is real nice and deep.
Yeah.
Again, I would get my lures to walking right before it crosses the creek, walk down free and walk up.
And maybe.
Now, what I would do here, and here's where it's so important to have your electric motor with the transducer on the nose. And this is good for crappie or bass or whatever's there. After you do that, if you don't catch a fish, it would be a good idea to start at some or go back this way and work the bottom of that with your electric motor, and you can follow every inch, and you can drop it on the shoulder, down, and you can just drop it up and down each side and
Do some vertical jigging type technique, something like that.
Yeah. And then you wanna rip that thing up off the bottom and let her go back slow, or lift it up slow and let it go back slow.
Okay, so change your speed control.
Change your speed. That changes your speed control. Now, when you get real deep, it might work here. A trigger, when you're real deep, a lot of times, you know if you're 30 feet deep and you're letting it down, and you can feel the bottom.
Yeah.
And it's not jerk it up and let it down, but don't let it all the way back down to where it's touching the bottom.
Okay.
And let it go down and go down.
Almost, and then. Okay.
And just let it down quick and let it. And when it tightens the line out, it don't reach the bottom, so it'll bounce 2 or 3 times. Then let it back down.
Okay.
rip her off again, and a lot of times you be catching the fish and the other guy be going crazy. But that stopping it and letting it bounce there just a time or two, and they'll just knock the hound out of it. Sauger, you find bluegill that deep. You can't hardly catch them on a lure, of course, but they are that deep.
Huh.
That's a Lamar situation.
Now, to me, this is winter structure. Am I wrong?
Well, yeah, right here's winter structure.
Okay.
But on out here, you've got summer structure. See it
Okay.
Your winter structure's not up on, so you're up on the flat, see it crank?
Right.
And it turns and goes out.
Okay.
And it swings along. You got pretty deep water all along that bank, and yes, it would be winter structure.
Okay.
But we're going to look at the summer part of it.
Okay. Okay.
See, you saw the bar break there. Now get right back out here. Marker, it's up on the bank, and you got your red markers always sweeping all the way around and goes up to what they're calling the five buoys on around, and Killerford's Hole is between there and on up there to that island you see up there.
Okay.
And there's a major creek comes in here, Wolf Teever,
Right,
goes way
right,
back in
right.
through there. Well, where it comes out here, it's real wide, and there's an island in the center of it, and you've got those two piles of rubbish down here at the bottom.
Okay. Okay.
But this bar works and it's steep all the way down, and then it turns and it rounds and flattens out and that sort of thing. But if the fish get out there and they migrate up through here, that's a good break line, and they can drop into deep water in 3 feet, just instantly, drop right off. So there's a lot of fish caught here.
Is that what they call a one-sided bar? Or?
Yeah, I don't know what it would be. I said half a bar because it comes right here.
Yeah.
That
But
is
it
about
keeps
the
going
most-
down as it gets farther out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then finally, in this particular situation, it's one-sided until it gets out to the mouth of that creek and then rounds around the creek, and then the other bank of the creek is way on out there, way on upstream.
Okay.
And it's got this little island in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Oh, what you got here?
Got a 414, caught it in about 16 foot of water, a little washout on a 700.
700.
What do you have, 5 colors out?
5 colors.
Sure
Yeah, 5 colors out.
Boy, that's a nice
Pretty good
fish.
swelling.
Yeah.
Doing good.
Nice
Good
catch.
fighter too.
Okay, way to go. Thanks.
That was my present to me. But I didn't.
Oh, lots of other ones.
Now you got to keep that rope in his mouth.
I don't have to.
No, if I can.